Have you ever stopped and wondered if God is truly almighty, if he is sovereign over all creation, and if with a single word he could erase Satan from existence? Then why hasn't he done it? Why does humanity's greatest enemy still walk the earth, spreading sin, stirring suffering, planting temptation in the hearts of men and women? This is more than just a curious question. It is one of the deepest questions of faith. If God stands against evil, why does evil still remain? If he is holy and righteous, why permit his adversary to continue at all? The answer is not hidden, but revealed in the pages of Scripture. And when we take the time to understand it, we realize that Satan's continued existence is not a contradiction of God's power, but rather a testimony of God's wisdom, his justice, and his eternal plan of love. Before he was called Satan, the adversary, he was known as Lucifer. His name means morning star, and he was not an ordinary angel. He was a radiant cherub, adorned with brilliance, full of wisdom, clothed in beauty that reflected the very light of God himself. In Ezekiel, we are told he was created perfect in all his ways until wickedness was found in him. Imagine for a moment the glory he once carried, walking among the stones of fire, shining brighter than any jewel. He was created to serve and to worship, but within him a seed of pride began to grow, and that pride became his downfall. He looked upon his own beauty, admired his own brilliance, and whispered to himself, "Why should I not ascend? Why should I not rise above the stars of God? Why should I not sit on the throne of the Most High?" That single thought became the flame of rebellion, and rebellion spread. He persuaded a third of the angels of heaven to follow him. What began as pride turned into open war in the courts of heaven. Revelation tells us there was war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon and his angels fought back. But Satan was not victorious. He was cast down from heaven with all those who followed him. No longer the morning star, he became Satan, the adversary, the ancient serpent who deceives the whole world. From that day, heaven was cleansed of his rebellion, but the battlefield shifted to earth, to humanity, to you and me. Now Satan rules as the prince of this world, commanding a kingdom of darkness. His fallen angels still wield power, influencing nations, corrupting systems, twisting cultures, and spreading lies. Demons, those disembodied spirits, seek to inhabit, torment, and oppress individuals, while fallen angels direct strategies over entire regions and societies. Together, they work under Satan's rule to oppose everything that reflects the glory of God. But here is a truth many forget. This is not a battle between equals. Satan is not God's counterpart. He is not light against light or power against power. Satan is a creature, and God is the creator. The moment he turned against God, he was already defeated. His power exists only within the boundaries God permits. And that leads us to the heart of the question. If Satan is already a vanquished foe, why does God still allow him to exist? There are three answers that Scripture reveals. First, God is perfectly just. He does not act out of impulse or vengeance. He has appointed a day of judgment when every creature, angelic or human, will be held accountable. If Satan had been destroyed instantly, the meaning of free will would collapse. The heavenly court would never witness the unfolding of God's perfect justice. By allowing Satan to remain for a time, God ensures that when the final judgment comes, no one will be able to claim that it was unfair, rushed, or hidden. His justice will be undeniable, seen by all creation. Second, God values free will. When he created angels and mankind, he gave us the freedom to choose. If every act of disobedience were punished with instant annihilation, then freedom would not truly exist. It would be nothing more than forced obedience under fear. But God desires love, not robotic submission. True love has value only when it is chosen willingly. And so he allows his creatures, even Lucifer, even us, to choose. That choice, though it opens the door to rebellion, also makes genuine love and loyalty possible. Third, God can turn even Satan's darkest schemes into instruments of redemption. Look at Jesus' life. When Satan tempted him in the wilderness, he thought he could derail God's plan. But each temptation only revealed the strength and purity of the Son of God. When Satan stirred betrayal in Judas's heart, he thought he was bringing about Christ's destruction. Yet that very betrayal brought Jesus to the cross, where the greatest act of salvation was accomplished. What Satan intended for evil, God transformed into the very path of redemption. Even now, in the trials of your own life, this truth remains. Perhaps you have walked through seasons of pain, betrayal, or loss. Perhaps you have asked, "Where's God in this?" But Scripture reminds us that nothing is wasted. Not one tear, not one night of sorrow, not one struggle is beyond God's reach. Even the attacks of the enemy can be turned for good. So, Satan's continued existence teaches us three unshakable truths. First, nothing is outside God's control. Every plan of the enemy is still within the boundaries of God's sovereignty. Second, the presence of Satan makes our choice real. Every day that you choose to trust God, you prove that your faith is genuine, that your love is sincere. Third, judgment is certain. The fact that Satan still roams does not mean he will escape his fate. Revelation promises that the devil who deceived the nations will be thrown into the lake of fire, to be tormented day and night forever. So why does Satan still exist? Not because God is powerless, not because evil balances the scales of good, but because God is too just to act rashly, too loving to force obedience, and too wise to let evil escape his ultimate plan of redemption. Until the very end, Satan remains the enemy, but his existence is also proof that God's justice, love, and sovereignty never fail. And this is why the story of Scripture ends with hope, not despair. Revelation says, "The accuser of our brothers has been hurled down, and they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb." That is our confidence. The battle is not uncertain, it is already decided. Victory belongs to God, and to all who stand with him. So if you are in a season where the enemy seems loud in your life, hold on to this truth. His time is short, his power is limited, and his end is certain. God will use even what Satan intends for harm to shape you, to strengthen you, and to bring glory to his name. Have you seen this in your own life? A moment that once seemed unbearable, but later you realized God had used it to bring good? Share your testimony in the comments, because your story may be the light someone else needs in their darkest night. And remember to subscribe for more messages of hope and truth, because the story of God is still unfolding in your life.